Okay.
All right.
We are live once again, folks.
Take 2. For those of you who missed the first attempt, too bad. You missed it. You had to be there. All right, let's get some confirmation from the chat room that they can at least hear us. And if we're out of sync, guys,
Some
sorry,
kind of
we're
dwarf
just gonna...
sissy bag.
I could still hear that. If we're out of sync, sorry, guys, we're just gonna have to roll with it because it's an audio thing. So I guess as long as the audios are in sync with each other, we'll do.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm hearing it conversationally, and what I hear is what gets released. So.
All right. Rev says we're live.
Sweet.
Todd says we're standard.
Okay. Okay.
Do
better.
Sound.
Everyone says it's better.
Are we still sync?
Stop it.
Abi have a number. Abi DB what you're being.
Oops, mute. Zod was muted for the entire podcast. Sorry about that, folks.
That would be entertaining. You just have to guess what I'm saying based on my lip movements. And yes, it would be profanity, which would be pretty awesome. No, it would not be profanity. I would never do profanity on the show. Other shows, sure. All right, so top of the show notes. We have a chat room. We have a stew. I think we're ready. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. All right, go back to Jordy LaForge mode. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2. On this episode of the AIE Podcast,
the tickets are half gone.
The force is heating up.
Someone's looking for a fight.
The nomads are all over the place.
And we have Stu here to talk about space battles with AIE in EVE Online.
All that and more coming up right now. Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the AIE Podcast, episode 191B, the Die Has Been Podcast, broadcasting from beautiful Northern California. This is Gomez, hey party people, and coming at us from the Deep South out in Central Alabama is Accuzod.
Greetings, this is Accuzod B.
So, if you don't know why it's 191B, you'll have to come to the live show. Because otherwise you'll never know. No, we just had some technical problems. Apparently the video and audio were way out of sync, and it was driving people kind of crazy. So we reset things, we're starting again, and we're going.
People who tuned in live got quite a treat, but I am once again wearing pants, so the rest of you can relax.
Well, so he claims. But Zod, what has been going on with you in the past week? I know you have been working crazy time hour madness.
It's been worth it. I've actually, one of my development projects at work has reached the point where I'm a little bit behind and had to start doing the 4 a.m. to 9 p.m. shift again in order to catch up. But made a major breakthrough yesterday. I got knocked out a week's worth of features in one day. I feel really awesome about that.
Oh, nice.
I get to sleep this weekend, which is great. Other than that, got a little bit of game time in on Heroes of the Storm. Had some fun. I love the Witch Doctor, by the way. If you're playing Heroes, you've got to play the Witch Doctor. He is awesome.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I had to miss my AIE raids in World of Warcraft with FERT. I feel horrible about that. And there's luckily one tonight, and I hope I get to make it. Whew. So that's me. What have you been up to this week?
So I did the whole Disneyland thing last weekend. I think we walked 15 miles on Saturday where it was 90 degrees, which I could have dealt with it being, and of course it was 10 degrees cooler on either side of the day that we chose to go to Disneyland, but it was fun. It's my friend's 40th birthday. We stood in a lot of lines, but I'm super impressed. They redid Star Tours, and apparently there's now 22 different stories that they tell in Star Tours, which is kind of crazy to think about. Yeah, I mean, we only went on it once, but I know some that went on it several times, and Disney definitely owns that now, so they can feel free to do whatever they would like with it, and no one can really say anything. But no, it was a really good time. I only got a tiny bit of sunburn where, like, my shirt rubbed off sunscreen, and so I felt that was because, standing in the heat in Southern California all day, did not really have any time for gaming simply because we got back Monday evening, which was kind of a big nightmare. our flight kept getting delayed until the point they were like, you should rebook. There were no flights into San Jose, so we had to go into SFO. And so my bags went to San Jose, and yeah, it was kind of a huge nightmare. But we got it settled. We got home, and then I've been at work. So that's kind of how things have been going. But this week we have Stu. Stu, what has been going on with you? We haven't heard from you in a while. I'm glad to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me. Well, I've been poking my head in Warframe now and again.
Okay.
And having some fun with that. That is about it. I've been kind of crazy busy between Eve, work, and work. There's not much time left.
Excuse me. Okay, we'll be digging into, Eve shortly. Don't pour water down the windpipe there. That's the wrong one. So we'll be digging into Eve shortly, but first, let's cover this week's news.
AIE News.
Hey, AIE World of Warcraft members, are you going to BlizzCon? Were you lucky enough to get tickets yesterday? If not, you still have one more chance. The second and final round of tickets go on sale this weekend, Saturday, May 10th, at 10 p.m. Pacific. If fortune doesn't smile on you, don't fret. We are working on plans for another AIE Town Hall at BlizzCon this year. Still a little up in the air. We're trying to get the money together, the plans together. So don't buy any airline tickets yet, but even if you don't get to BlizzCon, if we do have the Town Hall, you're going to want to come out to it because it is absolutely awesome. Also, if you're really into the art and design that goes into the game, you're going to want to check out Senior Art Director Chris Robinson's blog post from Tuesday, where he shows off one of the new zones they're working on and explains some of the technologies and the hurdles they face in creating the world of Azeroth. It's absolutely beautiful and fascinating. You can find that post on the World of Warcraft website, or we'll have a link in our show notes.
So, from AIE in a galaxy far, far away, Kazric has posted a link to a Bioware article that came out yesterday with details on the upcoming Summer of SWTOR due to launch on June 10th, and includes a casino, bonus rewards for PvP matches, an overhaul to the group finder, and far too many other things to cover. It's probably, we're linking to it in the show notes. It sounds like the Force will definitely be with you this summer.
AIE, the Secret World member Dot Warner, and yes, that's exactly the character you're thinking about, will be running you can tell by the icon in the signature block, it's hilarious.
Oh, okay.
He or she will be running a PvP achievement farming event this weekend in the Secret World. So if you're looking to get some notches on your PvP belt, the runs will take place immediately following their normally scheduled raids, which are Saturday at noon Pacific and Sunday at 10 a.m. Pacific. So the PvP event will be right after that. You want to jump in, hang on, wait till they're done. They'll be doing the Stonehenge achievements if enough people show up, or they'll be doing the Fight Club 10K player challenges if not enough people show up.
Okay, so the AIE Nomads will start their roam into AIE Star Trek Online tomorrow. I lied. I did poke my head into Star Trek Online a little bit just because I was trying to decompress from the trip, and I realized I have no idea what I'm doing in that game again. So I'm pondering making a level 1 character and going through like the beginning because I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this is what I'm supposed to do. I never died, but I knew I could have been way more efficient, and the ship that I'm currently in has a blank spot where a person should be, and I don't know how to assign a person to that spot. So I was just like, I'm missing out on a whole bunch of things I could be doing to the Klingons and those around me. But yeah, that's so Friday, May 9th, they'll be starting up. Captain Hunter and the rest of the AIE and Star Trek Online game are looking forward to greeting the wandering adventurers and have somehow talked Perfect World into increasing the number of ship slots available, 2 characters to celebrate. Yeah. That's how much pull we have. Okay, that's probably not true. But that's, I'm just, we're speculating. So we probably have nothing to do with it, but it's true. There are more ship slots available. Starting today, every character will have 2 extra ship slots available to them.
Unfortunately, we forgot to mention, I realized at the top of the show, that Aludra will not be joining us today. She's out on secret assignment.
Yes, once again, secret. It was so secret we couldn't mention it.
Yeah. This is what I was going to mention, that both of those ship slots have ships that will actually go forward. Both of them. So, but
Aludra, are you paying attention here, Aludra? We know you're on a secret assignment, but
Yeah, I'm not going to mention that because she's not here to defend herself. So
yes, that's true.
Okay, and speaking of the AIE Nomads, The most recent minor league game vote has come to a close, and the winner for the third time is Marvel Heroes. So if you're looking for a quick, fun game to play with a bunch of AIE members, this is the one. However, the Nomads aren't known for sitting still, and Lotwook has posted that the gang will also be playing World of Tanks. Is that enough game for you yet?
Wow. Yeah, they're not content with just one. They're playing 3 right now. 2 of them are minor league, but yeah, that's still a thing. So, actually, no, that is not enough. AIE is branching, and I'm very pleased to announce, into WildStar, and we're pleased to announce that Space Admiral Cav has been named the director of AIE WildStar. No news yet on what Cav's plans are for the guild. I know there's been a couple polls. I believe we're playing Exiles, but I'm not positive of that. We will get confirmation. I'm sure he will be on the show in the next couple weeks. So when the royal decrees come down, we'll be the first to bring them to you, and I'm sure we will be talking to him within the next couple weeks.
Yeah,
Seems reasonable.
Definitely need to get him on the show. Okay, we did not find any big news this week for AIE in Rift, Guild Wars 2, or oddly enough, Lotro, who almost always has news. So if you guys have something going on that we missed, and that would be my fault, I apologize personally, please send it to us at podcast@aie-guild.org, or, of course, post in the forums, and I'll find it.
And also, folks, some people have been mailing me, which is fine, but if you want to make sure all of the hosts get stuff, please mail it to the podcast list. We all 3 are on it. That way, if one of us doesn't happen to be here and you sent a note to one of us specifically, it becomes more problematic for all the news to be disseminated. So we have... Oh, you have your... Meetups.
I have one more. This is a quick one. We've got one meetup on the books coming up in the next month, and that is Comicpalooza. Is it Comicapalooza? Comicpalooza?
I would imagine it's Comicpalooza.
Sure. In Houston, Friday, May 23rd at 5 p.m. So if you're anywhere near that area, please go to our meetup.com site to RSVP, and if you're not, go to our meetup.com site to create your own meetup so we can talk about it. Okay, now your turn.
Sorry, I jumped a little ahead. I'm excited. We have, Stu, I'm going to put you on the spot here. We have, before we talk about Eve, we have a game code to give away. Awesome. We are going to give away Mirror's Edge, which is a really fun, it's sort of a free-running, like super fancy graphics, free-running through the city. We have a Steam code to give away, courtesy of, it's Demandin or Lorana. Are the 2 names that they have given that in various games. I know they play Final Fantasy because they've been very generous with their time and money. But Stu,
who they are.
You need to come up with a way. Maybe we should have mentioned this before the show.
Nah.
Yeah, that would have been.
Come up with a way in the chat channel that we can give away the code. Like you can say the first person to say a word because we have about a minute delay. So the first person. So it is a Steam code. If you already have Mirror's Edge, please obviously don't play because we would like to give it away to someone that doesn't actually have the game. But Stu, do you have any idea how we could give this away?
Yes. So I'm gonna pick a number between 1 and 20, and I'm gonna type it to you guys in the chat in the notes here, so you guys know what it is. Okay. And then we're gonna have somebody guess it. We're gonna have everybody guess it in the chat. So they're gonna guess one number, one per person, please. Okay. Who wants it? And then it's gonna be 1 through 20. So
so is it the closest?
Closest without going over, or who hits it?
Wait a second, without going over.
Come on, it's Price is Right, man.
Now? Okay, so right now, starting right now.
All right, yeah, chat room starting right now. Pick a number from 1 to 20. Go!
Okay, we have the number. Stu has given us the number in the show notes, which you cannot see.
Be English, right? That's not fair, putting it in Marion.
Sorry, I thought I was allowed to put it in Amarian numerals.
No, between 1 and 20. 1 and 20, Max. I know 42 is the answer, but it's not the answer to this particular question.
So far, I haven't seen anybody get it yet. So
yeah, not yet. We'll let it open for another, 35 seconds, because that should be close enough. Pi is also not a number.
Revenar put 17, and he was immediately undercut by Zephra. 16.
Okay, we have. Okay. I'm gonna close it in 10 seconds.
Yeah, this makes really good radio too, by the way.
9 seconds. Yeah.
Let's listen to everybody picking numbers.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it looks like we have Sybil.
Woohoo!
Is Sybil not the closest?
That's the one I saw. So the secret number was 4, and for those playing at home.
Secret number. Oh, that's a secret word. Sorry, that's totally different.
You just showed your age there.
A secret word with $100. No.
Okay, so Sybil, I will send you once we get Stu off and running. I will send you the code in the secret IRC chat. That I will send you the code. Please let me know if it works because he just copied and pasted these from his Steam account, and so they should all be valid. So we just want to make sure that that it is a valid code, and if not, we will give you something else.
I have to point out, we said pick a number between 1 and 20, and Max picked fish.
Yeah, he also picked pie, which I don't believe is an actual.
I like pie.
I mean, everyone likes pie. Don't get me wrong. So, okay, so that's so what is going on in Eve?
Yes.
There has been so many things since I played. It might as well be a different game. You guys are in a completely different, corporation, and just everything's going crazy. So, Stu, let us know what's going on.
Yep, so first off, I wanted to mention, Hoots would love to be here, but apparently that you and him got in a kerfuffle about editing show notes, and he's apparently banned from the AIE podcast now.
Well,
that's what he tells me.
I don't mind editing the show notes. I mind editing the show notes while I'm trying to read the particular sentence that they're editing. That's when it becomes more.
Well, I don't even, if I remember
Those are
correctly.
my favorite things to do.
Yeah, he was moving the mouse like on a different screen or something, and somehow wires got crossed, and it happened to be editing your page or something. But anyway,
I was like, Hoots, stop messing with the show notes, Hoots. So yes,
so I wanted to. Well, first off, I wanted to cover 2 very important things coming up one very important thing coming up for the Corp, and then I'm going to give a quick little rundown that we have of Eve Fan Fest, which just happened this past weekend, which is Eve's big BlizzCon-like thing. Everybody goes to Reykjavik, Iceland, and gets incredibly drunk and has a great time. But first off, before we get into that, I wanted to get this right off the bat. There is a Corp State of the Corporation on Friday, May 9th, which is tomorrow night, at 11 p.m. Eastern. So if you can make it, that'd be great. If not, it'll be recorded. I unfortunately not going to be able to make it myself, but Hoots and all the other officers will be there. So you can expect to hear more from them. And that's just going to clarify some stuff like our recent deployment, what kind of initiatives we've been doing in the background as far as our Corp, what kind of restructuring we've done in the leadership, and also some reinforcement of some deployment stuff that we're doing.
Oh, no, you need to explain all that tonight.
I can do some.
We're going to be here a while.
I'm so confused with what's going on.
All right, so I'm going to give a quick rundown of what happened at Eve Fan Fest. I know we like to focus on AIE stuff, but there's some pretty cool stuff that got announced at Fan Fest. First and foremost, Eve Valkyrie was announced as a big game. They said it's potentially going to be done by the end of this year, but they're actually going to wait until the Oculus and the Morpheus hardware is finalized. Whenever that's finalized, then they'll release it. But as well as also Katie Stackhoff, aka Starbuck, on the reboot of Battlestar Galactica, is going to be doing the voice acting as the main female character.
Whoa, nice!
Yeah, that was a huge pull for them.
She's awesome.
So shout out them. Yeah,
she's awesome,
and it's pretty cool because she dropped like F-bombs like crazy on this pre-recorded video that she did.
Oh man.
So
don't watch this with your kids, folks.
Yeah, but they had a couple keynotes. One is for the Eve Valkyrie. That's, like I said, that's their VR. That's going to be using either the Oculus Rift or the wonderful goggles that Akizad was just wearing.
Like my Geordie LaForge.
Yeah, Geordie LaForge VR goggles on the cheap, or Sony Morpheus VR.
Now they mentioned Eve has got to be the perfect place for a 3D game.
Oh,
yeah,
that would be
game
really
is
cool.
So beautiful.
And so that was another big thing. So already back in E3 and actually last year when Valkyrie, which was introed as like less than 20 people were working on it at the time, it was kind of a pet project for some people. Now it's become a whole like separate, not division, but a whole separate game development, and they've got a ton of money behind it and a ton of developers on it. So now they're actually going to be, they redid it all on the Unreal Engine. It was previously using some other engine. I don't recall the name. But now it's all going to be the Unreal 4 engine, which is the new hotness, and so that's pretty sweet. There's a new alpha video. If it's not in my show notes now, I'll make sure it gets in there by the time the show notes go out. But
I've seen some 4K resolution and 8K resolution screenshots of the Unreal Engine 4, and oh my word, that if you have the graphics hardware to handle it, it is a gorgeous, gorgeous engine to be able to throw a game through. So yes.
Okay. Now, just to clarify, are you saying this is actually Eve, or is this a whole different game?
So that's an interesting thing. So for those that don't know, CCP Games, the developer behind EVE Online, acquired the company called White Wolf Productions, I think, and they were the developers behind, or in the company behind the it's escaping me, World of Darkness and those Vampire Masquerade, I think, is the MMO or the game. Anyways, that company, unfortunately, they did stop development on World of Darkness MMO, but now they're transitioning to a complete EVE universe kind of initiative. So Dust 514, which is the PS3 first-person shooter, and EVE Valkyrie, and as well as EVE Online, are all going to be in one EVE universe. There's still a lot of up in the air. This is like a long-term plan. I would say probably like 5 to 10 years of them all being completely connected and being able to trade between the three and so forth. But they did mention at the final keynote, which they call CCP Presents, and they mentioned that at one point their goal is to have one launcher for all three games. So you could just go from either Dust 514, which they announced a PC version of Dust called Project Legion for now, that they may potentially be bringing to further development depending on how that works, but that'll be a first-person shooter on the PC. And so you could switch from the same character you play in EVE, switch over to Project Legion playing first-person shooter, or switch to playing EVE Valkyrie, any of those three, where you could just switch in between them, kind of like jump cloning in EVE as it is today. So that was kind of an idea they threw out there, so I thought that was pretty cool. So EVE is switching from their traditional 2 expansions a year, free expansions a year, to a smaller agile cycle of about 10 updates a year. And they're going to be smaller updates, and the first one is going to be called Chronos. That's going to be coming out June 3rd, I believe is the date. And so less than a month away, and we're looking at getting a ton of new ships, including a Tech 2 mining CovOps ship called the Prospect, which is going to be able to cloak up covertly, use covert signals. Pretty cool little, interesting little ship, because it basically is, it's like a mining venture, which is I think what we showed at 1.4, where you can use a cheap little frigate, but then you have the ability to do covert things with it, so it makes it very interesting.
Can you mine while you're cloaked?
No, you can't. You can't have any module active while cloaked, except for the cloak itself.
That'd be kind of hacks. Come on, Zod.
Hey, I go exploring. I love my covert op ships. That's my favorite ship.
Of course, you can go exploring because that's just flying around, but you can't interact with the world. That's, I think, where they draw the line.
No, I mean, I run scanners, I scan down wormholes and stuff, and have a blast.
Yeah, so beyond that, there's a ton of ship reskinnings that, for those that don't play, probably don't care too much, but there's some pretty cool reskinning of ships, as well as there's a whole new faction of ships that can be released of a pirate faction that look pretty cool. As well as they're adding some cool things, which is going to include a new warp in and warp out effect. There's kind of like a sonic boom, as if you're on grid with a ship and it warps and another ship warps in, then you'll hear kind of like a little like pop. Which, don't ask me how you hear stuff in space. That's not my forte.
There's explosions too, so come on.
But yeah, so that should be pretty interesting. I think that's kind of expanding on the previous things that they did, like being able to see warps in. You see the in-warp visual as you go through the tunnel and so forth, as well as the Phoenix Dreadnought is getting rebalanced. It's kind of cool, and they're refocusing on reworking the entire new player experience, trying to get away from doing just plain tutorials and trying to figure out a better way to just let people explore the world, but at the same time get them comfortable with EVE. And so they didn't give too much into this, because remember EVE FanFest, this is kind of like the BlizzCon of EVE universe, but they also generally will look years in advance. So I mean, some of these ideas may potentially be
Changed or
4 years
Gotcha.
in the making. Like there's CCP Seagull is the executive producer of EVE Online, and she is as what they call a 5-year plan, where they plan to be able to make a lot of changes. Like one of the things they mentioned at FanFest is being able to destroy anything and everything in the game, including Stargates, and being able to build them, of course, too. So it makes it very interesting to see how that's going to happen, especially with known kind of I don't want to say hostile entities, but less than stellar entities that would like to just destroy all the gates in the game just to see what would happen, those sorts of things. So I'm curious how they'll handle that. And that's kind of came extension of the Rubicon expansion, which allowed us to take more of HiSec back. And so there's one of the final videos in my show notes, or one of the final videos I have in my notes here, is the Eve Prophecy trailer, which is amazing CGI video that they put together as kind of where they wanted to go storyline-wise with Eve, where the Capsuleers are banding together and going to try to create their own Stargate, and where does that lead? And all the existing empires, the NPC empires, Amar, Galente, Kaldari, and Mimitar, are not very for that because they're losing their power. They're losing their grip on the universe, and so they bring in there's this huge space battle, and you can see Dust Marines that get landed into a station or a ship, I don't remember which, and then they go. Mercenaries get to run in, and the Dust Mercenaries are fighting on a ship, and then you have the Valkyrie pilots that are flying all through the air. It's pretty awesome.
Cool.
AFK watching video.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I will actually drop that if you wouldn't mind, Zod, can you drop that in the chat for the people?
Sure.
But then also
after the show.
One final thing I wanted to mention is the CSM9, which shameless plug, myself, Hoots, Lantheris, and Kuda all interviewed like 99% of them who are running for the Council of Stellar Management, and they're kind of like our elected officials that get an inside scoop on any kind of changes or expansions that are coming along, and they get to say, this is not going to be good for this reason, or they're going to try to tweak things to make them better for the player base as a whole. So the whole new CSM 9 was elected and announced at, they were elected previously, but they were announced at FanFest. Now, getting into Zod's questions.
Yes.
What in the world is going on in AIEU?
So, last we spoke on the podcast, and I know Zod is familiar with most of this because he's been living some of this stuff, but last we spoke, as I think we announced on the podcast, we had left Test Alliance Please Ignore and had joined the Brave Collective. Brave Collective and the Brave Newbies seemed like a really nice fit for us as an Corp and where we were and so forth, and so we joined them. Shortly thereafter, within I would
quick
say
interruption for the word I can't think of. I just have to mention, Brave Dojo is awesome. You guys who run Brave Dojo, you guys are amazing, and you've made the game 1,000 times more involved and intricate for me personally. So thank you all. Okay.
So Brave Dojo is a training group that will help you either get ships and teach you how to use various types of ships. It's kind of like the Test Free that we used to have in Test, where they would give you free ships, but they also give a really hard focus on teaching people stuff, because them coming from Brave Newbies and Brave Collective, they want to be able to teach people how to use the various things that they can give them. So that's a cool thing.
That's novel. That didn't really exist when I was there.
Yeah, they're like, here's a ship. Let's spend 3 hours. Let me show you how to use it.
Well, it was, hey, join the Corp right away. Leave HiSec. And it was like, I don't want to be a nullsec yet. And yeah, that my experience, I think, is a little different than Zod's has been.
Yes, it's Dojo's been
although, Stu, you were extremely helpful. I do want to go on the record as saying you helped transport me, like, the entire, I think I was gone for a week from the game, and the entire fleet had moved to, like, a different quadrant of the universe, and you were like, oh, no, we can totally get your stuff moved over. So you were extremely helpful in getting that done. But, yeah, that was kind of like, we're going to throw you into the deep end of the pool. You're welcome.
Oh, and I did want to mention, since it is being talked about in the chat room, so at one day before FanFest, Eve unveiled a memorial, or a monument rather, not a memorial, that was a monument to all of the Eve players, and it had every single player that is every single character main character, and they did that based off skill points. So if, like, each account you can have 3 characters, so whichever one had the highest skill points, they put that one on there. But they put all of them on these various plates on the bottom of the monument, and they put everybody's name on it, your in-game character name, not your personal name. And then they had this cool monument that was put together, like postmodern art monument that was put together by I want to say it was an Icelandic postmodern artist, and they donated it to the Reykjavik, Iceland city, and so now it's just sitting there in like Reykjavik harbor as a permanent memorial to all of the EVE players.
Oh, you mean a physical? It actually made a real memorial, not in game.
Yeah, it's real. It's about 5. Wow. Well, I'd probably say 5 to 10 feet tall, give or take. And
it has sure 3 it wasn't Björk that made the monument? Like, she's kind of postmodern.
So it's three different parts. There's a reflective middle piece. There's a kind of a blackish round piece, and it has various symbols that you can check out. I think it's just on eve.com or eve.com/monument, one of the two. But anyways, so there was a controversy, and since they mentioned it in the chat, I wanted to mention it, that somebody actually physically scratched out a player's name on there, vandalizing the monument. And that person, because EVE, has like serious drama, and everybody
that's the way it
wants
works
to take it to the next level. So that person was actually, the supposed 3 people responsible had like 3 or 4 accounts banned. It was pretty crazy. Oh, by the way, breaking AIE Ventrella is going to be down for the next 24 hours or so.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
I think Typefrag is having some server issues, so that it will be down for a little while. We will post a link in the show notes about the outage.
But anyways, back to what AIEU's been doing. So we joined Brave. We hung out in Barliget, which is in Placid, which is a region. Barliget is a system. We kind of hanging out there, having a good time, and then Brave decided to redeploy to Derelict. And when we redeployed to Derelict, we also became part of a coalition and called the Hero Coalition. And the Hero Coalition consisted of Brave Collective, Test Alliance Please Ignore, Nexus Fleet, and Honor, which I believe is Spaceship Samurai also called. And so that was a cool thing. Now we're a coalition of, I think, about 15,000 people, give or take. Don't quote me on that number, but it's around there. So now that we're in Derelict, and we got paid by some rich benefactor. We don't know. It wasn't broadcast to us line members, but we were paid billions upon billions of ISK to go cause havoc in the Ketch region, which was currently occupied by AAA and Darkness of Despair, which are both Russian alliances that are well known in the game, but they also had a number of they also had some allies like the Goon Swarm Federation and so forth.
And so, in other words, the Cold War is heating back up. Is that what you're saying?
Well, in real life and in EVE.
All right, Stu, can you repeat all that? I was looking at my name on the monument. So.
Yeah. So, by the way, so someone dropped in the chat. I will actually, if you can, drop that in the show notes for me. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there's a name finder. If you had an active character as of March 31st or March 1st, I don't remember exact date, then they would have put your name up there as well, and they have a website that you can just type in your character name, and it will show you it's on this plate, in this row, on this column, and it'll highlight it and everything.
I found me, and I'll put that in the show notes as well.
So you are immortalized.
Yeah.
And there's a few hundred podcasts. Wasn't enough. I'm now on a statue in a part of the country I'll never get to see.
So about mid-March to early April, Darkness of Despair, which is one of the Russian alliances, had a disgruntled director that decided to disband the entire alliance.
Wow.
When that happened, there was a lot of back channel stuff that is doesn't really important for this podcast, but the main thing is once they did that, all of the systems that they owned, which it wasn't all the systems in Ketch, but there was a handful of systems in Ketch, got immediately dropped sovereignty, and so that makes it really easy to take soft. Normally you have to attack, you have to put up SBUs, and then you have to put up and then attack the TCU or whatever it is. Sorry, soft mechanics are confusing, but anyways, so it's a whole long process, but when they did that, you get rid of all that process. All you have to do is basically kill one thing, and then you take that system rather. So what we did is we rushed in, got those few systems. We got a handful. We meaning Hero Coalition, and then a number of other entities like Pandemic Legion and so forth also got a number of the other systems that they had throughout the universe. When that happened, that kind of started like Brave accidentally getting SOV, because Brave Collective never had SOV after that point. They were always a low-sec corp, and they're one of the largest alliances in the game, but they'd never had SOV because that's a very difficult thing to get into. Once
you have to maintain it.
Yeah, you have to maintain it.
It's not hey, we have this, and now we have it forever. It's you have to get it, and then you have to keep logistics to make sure every time sovereignty is eligible to change hands, that you're there to defend it.
Yep, and there's a whole SOV bill involved, so you have to be able to make enough ISK to pay off the SOV bill to DED or Concord or whoever it is that handles that.
Space logistics. Yay!
Yeah. So
this is a game, right?
Yep.
Okay.
More or less.
Speaking of space logistics, I'll actually pop back into that. We had to reorg a bit of our officer roles or our director roles since we were last on the podcast. Myself, I've been named the director of logistics. Hoots Hootenheim is now the director of HR in our head diplo, which basically means he's in charge of creating diplomatic incidents.
Yeah, it's a game, folks, but there's an HR department. I'm just, there you go.
Yes. And beyond that, let's see what else we have. Lanktheris is our military director, and he has a subdirector underneath him of Razhoff, and Lars is helping me out with the space logistics. And then we have head of our recon slash info security stuff, which is Kata, I forget his name, Catalari, but I can't remember, or Solace Kane, that's it. But anyway, so we just had some rework of some roles, and Kuda Timberline slash Veil Geek, he is our mining slash industry.
Yeah, I was going to say he has to be an industrialist because ever since I've known him, that is what he does.
So you'll be surprised though. Like last time I talked to him, he's been losing a lot of bombers. He's been going out and having fun with the blowing up bombers.
Oh, okay, cool.
So anyways, we got moved into Catch, and then so we got deployed on this thing called Burn Catch, which is to try to take over the entire region from AAA. And AAA is kind of a interesting alliance that I'm not going to get terribly into now, but they kind of ebb and flow of participation and what they want to do. So they'll take a region and then they'll just kind of not do anything. So us in Hero Coalition, we're burning Catch and trying to take it all and try to cause the most amount of ISK damage in the process. And we don't care about losing, ships and hundreds of ships. We're like, oh, okay. So it's just all fun games. But now AIU and Hero Coalition, along with Brave Collective and Test and everybody else, are now moving to VTAC 3, which is in the middle or the heart of Catch. And this will allow us to get even further into Catch to take over the rest of the region. AIU specifically is going to be deploying to, I think this is the right system name, I typed it from memory, QETZ-W, which is a wonderful nullsec system.
Oh, so for those of you listening at home,
time of year, trust me.
If you're listening to EVE people talk about where they are, when they say TAC, that is a dash. So earlier he said VTAC 3, that is actually V-3 for like you typing it on your keyboard. It's just faster to say, and I think it is the standard like phonetic sound for dash. So just, that confused me a lot when I first started playing the game, and I quickly figured it out. But yeah, that's what that actually means.
Yes, correct. So beyond that, looking forward to the future, and I'll get to Zod's questions here in a moment if I haven't answered it yet. But hopefully I might have gotten one or two.
What do we want to do in Catch? I don't get it.
Well, sovereignty is an interesting thing because you can make lots of money in sovereignty space. Once you start ratting, for example, you start doing missions and so forth, or doing anomalies in sovereignty nullsec, you can actually build up what's called the military index and make it more valuable the more sites spawn, and then you can actually build sovereignty upgrades that will allow you to get even better at it. So I think there's a pirate capture array or something like that, and that will allow you to actually cause more sites to spawn in a given area. So what this does is allow you to be able to milk more ISK out of that particular system. And so that is kind of why sovereignty is so nice, among other things, and just a lot of fun too of having SOV. Getting a SOV is kind of a pain in the butt because there's a lot of killing stuff and structure bashing and so forth. But actually having SOV like we did back in the test days and so forth can be very, very fun.
See, I've been cloaking around trying to explore and find data and relic sites, and I can't find anything.
Yeah, I've heard. I don't do much exploration in Catch personally yet, but I've heard that Catch hasn't had a great deal of sites spawning, and I don't know if it's just because of the region or just because people aren't running it, so it's not spawning. I don't know quite how that mechanic works. But yeah, so I did want to point out also the Crow Vanguard, which is kind of spawned from one of our members. He wasn't a member at the time, but he joined us, and now he's cool. Dimitri, who started Crow Vanguard, is a wormhole day tripping. We converted him. And so he
wasn't cool until he joined us, but now he's cool.
Yeah, well, now he's way more cooler because he's an AIE.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, of course.
So he joined us. He already had this Crow Vanguard thing going, which is like a social group where they ran day trips. And now I would kind of equate this to like a raid in WoW. It's not exactly the terms, like it won't equate 1-to-1, but in what you do is you find a good wormhole or a good anomaly that you want to go into, and then you get up enough pilots in this case, and you get enough DPS, you get enough Logi or healers, so to speak, and then you get a few scouts and a salvager, and then you bring them all into the wormhole, and you have a scout watch, various things. You have the salvager come in and salvage things when the DPS are done, and of course the space priests or the Logi keep the DPS ships up when they get attacked. And so that's all ISK making. So you can make lots of ISK doing that, and that's one of the things that we as a corp are facilitating through our helping Dimitri doing some various things as well as helping ourselves. Like what we've been doing is putting ships on contract for a little bit of profit on our side, but we bring them out. We bring them out from a trades hub. We fit them all together, and then we sell them back to the Crow Vanguard. So they get they don't have to foot up the whole ship, and then it saves them time. We get them a little ISK in this process.
Wow. Yeah, this is a game, folks. It's a game. So.
All right, Zod. What are your questions?
Yeah. Hit him with some questions, Zod. Come on.
That was basically it. This whole move to Catch. The first question, of course, was why, which I think you answered. We want to get sovereignty there. The second is where can I find sites, because I tend to log in, and for whatever reason I tend to have to solo. I tend to solo a lot because I really enjoy flying my covert op ship around and exploring, scanning down sites. And I seem to miss a lot of the fleets that go out, and it's just probably because of my schedule. So I'm sitting around Catch, I'm like, this is kind of boring. I was having fun over in Zendaya.
Yeah, so the way to find sites, and it really depends what you're doing, and I haven't quite nailed down the routing and Catch thing because I've been busy with space trucking, space logistics.
And we have to explain that, by the way. We have to explain.
Never lets me sleep because he wants me to move stuff from one side of the universe to the other so that AIE can make money, apparently, because we got to make money in this game or something.
Money? What's that? What fun is that? Oh wait, that
or
kind of
ISK. Sorry, ISK. You got to make ISK.
Oh, and just for those of you, so if you are thinking of joining AIEU, if you are already a member of AIE, you are a quarter of the way there already. The process is a little more stringent. They need to make sure you're not a spy from another corporation.
No,
yes, please do.
We are very, very open nowadays. We've changed stuff around. We may give you a second look if you've been playing E for like 10 years and you're like, hey, I want to join AIE. We might give you a second look, but
unless you're going to
get a character or you've been in AIE for a while, where you're just going to get press button. It's not a big deal. We don't do interviews unless you're like a really shitty person. We're just kind of let you all in. So, and speaking of letting everybody in, once we let you in, then you get access to our corp hangar. Which will allow you to get all of our wonderful ships to borrow or use and get blown up. And if you get blown up, go ahead and just get another one and blow it up because that's what it's there for.
Yeah, day one in the game, Lang's like, oh, here's 10 Rifters. We just contract them every 10 rifters. I still have 8 of them left. I've only blown 2 of them up yet because.
Well, then you're doing it wrong.
They're not covert ops. Now that I finally got my covert ops skilled up, I love that ability just to. Well, look, I fly into a bubble. All right, no, so what? I'll just turn right around and fly back out. They never saw me.
Dominic's do work in catch, Max. I'm still, as I said, getting the hang of how exactly Ratty's going to work in catch the pirates or Sancha pirates. If you actually look in the AIE New Eden forum, there's actually a thread right now of ratting and catch where Lars and some other people are talking about how best to go about ratting in catch right now and trying to work out some fits and stuff. So
now,
it's a learning process for a lot of us. Pardon?
Can you rat solo?
If you have enough skill points, usually yes. Lower level ratting is you could probably do, but it probably won't be very profitable.
Yeah, it has to. It ramps up pretty quickly once you actually get enough firepower. But I was basically following around 2 people that were doing ratting, and I was cleaning up all their salvage, and I was making a killing. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't a ton, but I was making like 17, 18 million ISK every time I went out. And that was accumulating pretty rapidly. And I was not super skilled, but I had kind of gone up I want to pilot the large mining and salvage ships tree. And so I was able to, pilot stuff and have sufficient skill to be able to do so. So there are certainly means that you can, but yeah, ratting by yourself when you're first starting out is going to be, a limited profit venture simply because you're going to get blown up from time to time.
Yeah, that's where those first 2 rifters went.
And part of it is learning what you can do and can't do. And there's a number of resources, Eve Uni or UniWiki, which is a great resource put on together by the Eve University guys. They have a very detailed Wikipedia or wiki that they keep up to date about various things, and there's a scale to all the content in Eve, and based off the name that you see, like in the anomaly, it will increase the complexity of the site. So, like the lower level ones, you can do in like a Rifter or a frigate or a destroyer, and then the higher level ones, as you go up, you can go to like cruisers, battle cruisers, battleships, and then potentially even like carriers or really high level capital stuff. So that it has a scaling to it, but like Gomez said, it at the lower level it's not as profitable. So you're better off finding something else that you can do fun. Like for example, I'd really point a lot of people to Grow Vanguard day tripping, because you can do that in approximately 2 to 3 days. You can get the skills in to be able to salvage. DPS is a little bit more difficult. But the salvager, you just go in, you have to be able to fit a cloak and a destroyer and some salvagers. But other than that, it's pretty straightforward.
Is this the same guy that you would just make a contract to, and he would pick up your stuff and give you money? Is he still doing that?
He's around. So as I mentioned, we're in Hero Coalition with Test Alliance. So he was actually in test, and you can still use him in test. But yeah, so he's around. Cool Beans is one of the guys. He does a great service. There's a couple of guys around as well that kind of do a salvage buyback that they'll buy it at like 90% of JITA prices and not let you or not have to ship it all the way back to JITA and deal with all the logistics.
Exactly. They deal with the shipping. They deal with the logistics. But they take basically 10%. And for me, that was totally worth it to make. I'm still making 15 to 17 million every shipment, so that seemed pretty reasonable to me.
Now, speaking of logistics, we have to talk about what Stu does in the game.
Space trucking.
Stu, you want to explain what
A lot of what I've been doing lately in the game is what's called space trucking, and this can vary depending on what type of ship you're flying. I do it. On the low end, I'll do it in like a blockade runner, move stuff around just from system to system. But when I need to get large amounts of stuff moved around, like when Hoots is bugging me to move his moon mining stuff around, I have to get what's called a jump freighter, and it, as the name implies, it jumps around. And I think we've mentioned a little bit before, it's a capital ship, so it's a larger ship. And once you get to the larger class ships, they have the ability to, they have a jump drive that allows you to lock on to a Sino. When a Sino is a sinusoidal field, which is, as they describe it in game, it's like a gravity well that the jump drives can lock onto to go to a particular place. So as what I do is I take stuff from point A and bring it to point B, and then hand it off to someone else who either does something with it or brings it to somewhere else, and then they make money on it. And then that's kind of what I do in Eve.
I know when we deployed from Barlagut over to Sandaya, I think, was anybody else besides you trucking all of our gear over?
I had some help from Hoots. A couple nights I had some help from Stig and some other guys in the capitals. But we moved about, was it 15 million or 15 or 20 million M3, which is meters cubed. It's just the
measurement.
The
cargo measurement, yeah.
Yeah, and each carrier can only carry about 1 million M3 per jump or per load. So it was 4 jumps, about 15 to 20 million M3. So that's like almost 100 jumps between everybody.
Wow.
And you heard me. For the World of Warcraft players who've never played EVE, I'll explain the weird aspect of this game. There are banks in every city. We'll just call them cities. But they're not connected. So you may have a ton of gear in one bank, and it's say Thunder Bluff, and then suddenly you want to take it down to Undercity. Well, you have to go to Thunder Bluff, get it out of the bank, put it in your bag, carry it to Undercity, and then put it in the bank.
Try not to get ganked by the Alliance on the way to Undercity.
Exactly, and it's a PvP server. People can kill you along the way and take your gear.
Well, it's not even like you have to not be ganked by the Alliance. It's picture there are 40 factions, and you have to not get ganked by any of them, because it's not just one enemy. There are many, many, many different things that are looking to get your stuff. And also, it's not so much that, it's that you can have your stuff in Thunder Bluff, and then all of a sudden Thunder Bluff is not owned by the Horde anymore. Your money is still safe inside Thunder Bluff, but you have to be able to get it out of Thunder Bluff. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of, like, the WoW analogy kind of breaks down, because the Horde never loses control of its cities other than, for PvP reasons, for 20 minutes. It's not a thing where you can lose control of, oh, we no longer can go to Mulgore because we'll get killed. Like that's sort of what that's what can happen in EVE, and that's one of the reasons I think people move from place to place.
Well, and what's interesting in EVE, though, is like we were doing an operation the other day, and we were, let's just say, doing some stuff that was kind of risky. I won't get into details, but we were in a quiet null-sec system, not too many people, or it was just the 3 of us, or 3 or 4 of us.
Lank involved?
Huh?
Was Lank involved?
No, Lank actually was not involved, thankfully, because I think that increased our chances of surviving.
Oh, man. Lank, you have been called out.
But yeah, we were doing something kind of risky, and anytime anybody came in the system, we had to look at them and see if they were a potential threat or if they're going to do anything to us because of the stuff we had on field and we were doing. But what's interesting in EVE is not even that you have to worry about just Horde. You have to worry about, if you are Horde, what about people who are trolls coming over? Are they okay? So we had some people come in system who were maybe 10-day-old characters or 10 days in a similar our coalition, and we're like, okay, so is this guy going to try to do anything? We're watching, trying to get any intel we can on this. So it's a very intense process, the world of EVE. It's very rewarding, and I think I mentioned it before, but I'm totally going to pimp it again and say the capstable.net is our podcast. If you want to hear us jabber about EVE Online for about an hour every week.
Yeah, I've actually just finished listening to the last episode, and I'm waiting impatiently for the next one.
Yes, that happens. So, Stu, is there anything else you wanted to mention before we close the show out here?
Nope, I think that's it. Just a friendly reminder that there's the State of the Corporation tomorrow night. That's May 9th, I think. Yeah, May 9th at 11 p.m. Eastern. And if you can attend, if assuming Ventrilo's up, yes. If it's not, I assume we might reschedule it to, or move it to the Brave Alliance, or excuse me, Brave Collective's Mumble server, which is, we have our own channel in there as well. So just keeping an eye out for that. We might update that. But yeah, so check that out if you can make it. Otherwise, we will record it and hopefully get that out as quickly as possible.
Okay. So I'm going to wrap it up there. That's our show for this evening. We want to thank Stu for joining us, Stu. So capstable.net, I typed the things in the show notes. I just want you to confirm they're correct. Capstable.net and @_StupidGenius are your that's your website and Twitter handle, respectively.
Yep, and actually at Capstable as well for the show if you want to follow that.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, now I got to ask, does that mean Stupid Genius was taken?
Yes, apparently. There's an interesting thing. I don't want to take too long. There's somebody in somewhere in Asia who has the same, who took Stupid Genius, but then also in Florida where I live, there's also a rapper named like Stupid Genius or something like that.
Wait, that's not you?
No,
man.
You're not laying down the fat rhymes. That's unfortunate. Wow, I could not have sounded any less hip saying that just now. So next week we will be chatting with the gang from World of Warcraft, the crown jewel of AIE.
All right, but stay tuned. We've got a full ride of great AIE member segments coming right up, including Overly Dramatic News, Buxley's Journal, Ask Miss Mulgra, Much Lesser Known Shaws, Azeroth Archives, Mega Minute, and Hailing Frequencies. What a show.
If you need to reach us, we can be found at podcast@aie-guild.org. Our Twitter is @AIE Podcast. I am @ShowNotFound. Accusod is @Accusod, and Aludra is @Aludra_AIE. We record live with video every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. You can join in the chat room and play along with us or watch one of our past shows on our website at theaiepodcast.com. I would wholeheartedly recommend chat channel. You can get, free stuff during the show. I'm just saying. So our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul or visit his website at keyswithsoul.com. Until next time, AIE, this is Gomez.
This is Accusod.
And this has been the AIE Podcast. Okay, chat room. Chat room, you have a job. Well, Stu, you have a job.
Stu, you have a job.
I think the podcast might have the website went down momentarily for me. So I don't know if they're in there at the moment, to be honest.
There are some people still chatting in there.
Yes.
So
everyone's still there actually. So are you not there?
No, I got dropped out. Sorry, there was I got a 500 error or something, and popped up said you lost connection. Sorry.
Yeah, that happens on our website, unfortunately.
We're working to correct that.
All right, so we need the chat room to suggest some show titles, and Stu, you are in charge of selecting one.
Let's wait till Stu gets back in.
Hold on. Them to you. Yep.
Oh yes, I guess we can certainly.
Yeah, if you want to read it.
Okay, we got a suggestion of the corporate secret behind 191B. Sounds like
that's actually pretty amusing.
What's the one? Gomez's Fat Beats.
Oh, okay. No. Okay.
Where's that? I know I saw another good one. Where'd it go?
Capstable Light, which is I don't think even Lotwook suggested it as a show title, but it's kind of funny because whenever the Eve people are on, I'm always like, oh, do I have to play Eve?
We have to do the whole show over again.
Why?
I didn't say words are hard at any point during the podcast.
What did you just say?
That is the first time in at least 30 shows I haven't said words are hard somewhere during the podcast.
Well, because I think we had so many other technical issues, the words were hard did not enter into it.
Podcasting is hard. That's what this show is.
Yes, yes. Okay, so we have a whole bunch more here.
Cats Riding for ISK. Expendable Ships Without Vents.
My mining is mine. Well, that's hard to say.
If you can keep it. Sovereignty, if you can keep it. I can't even say that, Sybil. That was too hard. The Eve Show.
The title, Eve is hard.
Oh, no, that's off-putting. Don't do that.
It's really a game. Really. A game.
Guys, it's really fun. It's like the best game ever.
No, it is. It is a really.
I'm addicted to it.
No, I just mean everybody else. I know you guys know, but
yeah. But I mean, I just wish I would not have been thrown into the deep end of the pool that did not have water in it when I started playing.
Voldrin, you can get out right now. Words are not easy. Words are so hard. Words weren't hard. No, Buxley. Podcasting was hard. Buxley missed all the excitement and the multiple retakes at the start of the show.
I blame Buxley.
He had to go to the store.
So that's going to happen.
I Yeah, my chat's still not working, so I'm gonna have to go with one of you guys on this one.
There's so many not Gomez's fast beats. I'm rejecting that one, per principle.
He's using the veto power.
All right,
I'm using my power of veto.
There was the first one that I think Stu jumped on was.
I actually do like the corporate secret behind 191B.
Okay, Radozetto, congratulations.
Because I'm not actually going to call the episode 191B, so it will be a completely like you had to be here to know what the heck is going on with that. So
right,
that'll be
congrats, Rado. You got the kudos for this week's show title. Your name will be at the end of the show notes. And with that, I'm going to take the broadcast down and say thank you guys all for joining us this week and every week.
Yes, we appreciate the chat room.
Keep coming back.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Yep,